Welcome back to our 12 days of Christmas. Today is day 2 and we're making this card. So this is the project we're making today. Look at all the beautiful pearly shine to our tree. So I'm going to show you how to do this kind of like watercoloring effect with the screen. And the card really shines with all the stickles on it. I really like it. So let's get to it. We're going to get a little bit messy with today's project, so you'll definitely need a craft mat, a paper trimmer, a scoring board with a bone folder, a pair of scissors, your favorite adhesive, some foam adhesives, and a sanding block and some paper. You'll need some grunge paper, the Tim Holtz Alterations die The Holiday Lamppost, the Vintage Seasons Winter Trees Glimmer Screens stencils by Tattered Angels, and we're going to be using this tree. You'll need stickles in diamond and Christmas red, as well as glossy accents. Perfect Pearls mist in Perfect Pearl and Pewter, as well as distress stains in Barn Door, Black Soot, and Forest Moss. You'll need a piece of cardstock in vanilla that measures 10 by 7, and a second one that measures 4 by 6. You'll also need a piece of Curiosity from Wonder Collection by Authentique, and this measures 6 7/8 by 4 7/8. And a piece of green cardstock from Tim Holtz Craft Core by Coordinations pack that measures 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. You'll also need a small piece of that same green cardstock measuring 2 by 2 for the holly leaves. And last but not least, you'll need 24 inches of red satin ribbon or any other type of red ribbon that you would like to use. Something I forgot to mention, you might want to keep some sort of a rag or wipes close to you. Now I've gone ahead and cut my lamppost out of the grunge paper as well as the berries down here, and used that 2 by 2 piece of green cardstock to cut the leaves. So using the Barn Door Distress Stain, you just want to give it a good coat over the berries. And then with the Black Soot Distress Stain, we're going to saturate the lamppost. Now the more the better, because grunge paper will absorb quite a bit, and you want to have a very, very good coverage. You could let it air dry if you're patient. I'm not, so I'm going to use my heat tool, which I forgot to mention at the beginning. So everything's dry now. We're going to set those berries aside and we're going to work on our lamppost. We're going to mist it with the Perfect Pearls Mist and Pewter. We're going to shake the bottle and give a few spritz of that. And you can either let it dry or you can zap it with your heat tool again. As it dries, the pearls really come to life. Look at this. Beautiful. The next step is to grab this tree from your pack of glimmer screen stencils. So we're going to be working on that tree. And using the Distress Stain in Forest Moss, we're going to cover up as much as we can of the tree. There we go. Then we're going to take our Perfect Pearls Mist in Perfect Pearl and we're going to give it a few spritz. We want the green stain to pool a bit on top. And we're going to grab this, and I'm going to move this to the side and bring back my vanilla cardstock. And what I want to do is print this onto the bottom right hand corner of my cardstock. And I'll zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. As you can see here, the ink, if I press down on the stencil, you'll see the ink move right up to the top of, right up to the edge of the plastic, and this is what you want to do. You don't want it to overspill much, but you do want to have the shape of that tree to have enough ink so that it looks actually like a tree. So once you're satisfied with what it seems to be looking underneath, you're going to remove your stencil, and voila, you've got a beautiful green shimmery tree. Now, as I said earlier, you could set it aside to dry. Again, I'm not patient, so I'm just going to clean my mat again, bring back my piece of cardstock, and zap it with my heat tool. So now that the dirty work has been done, we're going to put together our card. So I have here my piece of 10 by 7 vanilla cardstock, and I want to score this at 5 right in the middle here, and fold this in half. Now I'm going to glue my piece of curiosity paper, the one that measures 6 7/8 by 4 7/8, onto my card base. Lovely. And now I'm going to glue my tree onto this piece of green cardstock. Beautiful. Now it's time to add our bow to the tree image, and I'm going to zoom in closer so you can get a better view. So I'm going to wrap my piece of satin ribbon here at the bottom. And it doesn't matter for now where the bow is because you can always move it. But like I showed you yesterday to do a perfect knot, here's how I do my bows. And bows are a little bit trickier because you need to fiddle around with them. But basically it is my left over right like this. And then I'll just repeat my plus sign like I did yesterday, put my finger in here. And I'm sorry for the choice of finger. This is my strongest one. I didn't mean to offend anybody. I hope I didn't. And I'm going to make a loop with this one here, and then I'm going to wrap around this loop, and then again changing my finger underneath here, and then pulling. And as I'm pulling, I'm trying to adjust this tail here to go underneath, because sometimes it has a tendency to go wherever it wants to go. So if you have this one underneath, then you're all set. And then it's just a question of fiddling around with it. I like to hold my 2 loops here in my fingers and then just adjust them as I go. And there you go. And then I'll cut the tails off. Right here. And then I'm just going to pull this to wherever I want to. I want it a bit more on the side here, like so. And that would be a good time to secure your bow if you want to use mini glue dots, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, but that is a good way to secure your bow. And I want to put one as well right underneath here, like this. Perfect. So now I want to glue this piece onto my card base using some foam adhesives. And I always like to put at least 2 on each side of my ribbon so that it doesn't shift too much. And I'm going to stand up again and line up my image. I love this beautiful piece of designer paper. I think it's just great. The whole collection, actually, the Wonder collection by Authentique, I think is just absolutely beautiful. So now I'm using glossy accent to glue my lamppost onto my card, and I'm just basically going over all the little nooks and crannies of the whole post. And I'm going to position my lamppost like so. And I'm going to hold as much as I can for a little period of time so that all the pieces are really adhered to properly onto the card. Another step we need to do now is distress our holly leaves because I think they're a little bit too shiny. So I'm just going to take my distressing tool by Tim Holtz, and I'm just going to go over the 3 leaves. Don't do this on your craft mat because you'll definitely ruin it. I'm going to again take my glossy accents to glue my leaves down. I'm just going to put some here in the middle, like so. Hold it for a few seconds. And we're going to do the same for the holly, the berries. A bit of glossy accents and like this. Hold it for a few seconds. And the last step we want to do is we want to give it a little bit more shine and glitter. So I'm going to use the Christmas red stickles to go over the berries. And you probably wonder why we stained this. If we hadn't stained it, the side of the grunge paper would show as being craft color, and that would totally ruin the effect. So that's why I had you stain the berries beforehand. So I'm just going to put globs of stickles over them like this. Look how pretty. The diamond stickles, I'm going to put some in the windows of my lamppost, as well as I'm going to mimic some snow, and I'll just put little dots on my paper. So I'm going to start with the middle here. And I don't want to put too much so that it actually warps my paper. Just to give your lamppost added interest. And then for the snow, I'm just going to do, I usually do my accents in 3s. And there you go. Once the stickles dry, it will be even shinier. You'll be able to pick all those little diamond flecks that are in there. Sorry for making you get dirty, but sometimes it's a necessity. And I think it's just absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's a very classic card. And I will be back for day 3 of our 12 days of Christmas. And until then, please feel free to leave a comment, or if you have questions, leave them in the description box below. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye!